everyone, so I'm a business coach and I conduct webinars on regular basis. I schedule and manage all my webinars using EverWebinar. Yes, EverWebinar is an amazing platform that helps us to control and manage our webinars and registrants data as well. Over here, I have created a form using Typeform with the help of which I collect my participants' details who are interested in the webinar. Over here, what I want is that as soon as by the participant, by the registration form using Typeform, a form submission is going to be done. I want to create that participant as a registrant in my EverWebinar account. And doing that manually is a very time-consuming and a hectic process. So to solve this problem, I have created a connection between Typeform and EverWebinar using Pabbly Connect, that too without need of any coding and programming skills. Over here, whenever by the participant, a new form submission is going to be done using Typeform, automatically that participant is going to be created as a registrant in my EverWebinar account. So now if you want to learn this entire process step by step, I'm going to take you towards my screen. Welcome to my screen. So as a business coach, I use Typeform to collect sign-ups from professionals and entrepreneurs interested in my coaching programs. And I use EverWebinar to host automated webinars that share valuable strategies and insights. To streamline the process, I've set up an automation that instantly registers every Typeform submission respondent in my webinar and creates that as a registration, ensuring they get immediate access without any manual efforts. And I'm going to create the connection between Typeform and EverWebinar using Pabbly Connect. So I want to quickly introduce you to EverWebinar and explain why it's such a powerful tool for businesses, especially if you're a coach, course creator, or a marketer. So what exactly is EverWebinar? EverWebinar is an automated webinar platform that lets you run pre-recorded webinars as if they are happening live. That means you can record your webinar once and then deliver it over and over again to new audiences without being there every time. So now let me share a few reasons why I think businesses should seriously consider using EverWebinar. It lets you automate your presentations. Instead of going live repeatedly, you can create your best performing webinar at once. It helps you scale your business, whether you have 1 view or 1,000 viewers. EverWebinar handles it smoothly. The user experience is really engaging. It stimulates a live environment with features like live chat reply, automated polls, and timed offers. It gives you a flexible scheduling. You can offer multiple time slots, just-in-time sessions, or block out certain days, whatever fits your audience the best. And finally, it comes with detailed analytics and integrations. You can track everything from who registered, who attended, how long they stayed, and when they dropped off. So now to sum up what is EverWebinar, it is like having a full-time sales machine that educates, engages, and converts leads for you without burning out, okay? And we are going to use EverWebinar to create amazing webinar registrations in this video, okay? So first of all, I'm going to show you how this amazing automation will work in real time, okay? I'm going to do a test form submission using Typeform, and after that I'm going to check whether automatically a registrant has been added in my EverWebinar account or not, okay? So over here I'm going to do a form submission. This is the form. I'm going to copy this link from here and open it in a new tab right over here. So this is the form that I've created, and firstly it is asking for the registrant details. For the first name over here, I'm going to write it as demo. For the last name over here, I'm going to write it as user. And for the phone number, I'm going to enter a dummy mobile number right over here. That it is asking for the email. For the email over here, I'm going to write it as demoUser333@pabblytudes.com. And for the company name over here, I'm going to write it as new company, okay? After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on this OK button. It is asking which stage best describes your business right now. I'm going to select the option established and stable, okay? After that, it is asking what is your main business goal right now. So for the answer over here, I'm going to write it as I need to streamline my operations so I can focus more on growth instead of daily tasks, okay? As I've done that, I'm going to click on this submit button. It says thanks for completing this form. Okay, so as now the form submission is done successfully, I'm going to open my EverWebinar account and refresh the registrants page from here. As I've done that, you can see right over here a new registrant has been added in the name of demo user. This is the mobile number, and you can see right over here this is the email, that is demouser333@pabblytunes.com. Okay. So as you can see right over here, as the registrant is created, this is how this amazing automation will work in real time. And we are going to build this amazing automation without need of any coding and programming skills using Pabbly Connect. For that, on a new tab, I'm going to browse the website of Pabbly Connect, that is www.pabbly.com/connect. After browsing the website, Pabbly Connect's landing page is going to appear in front of you, on which you will find two options: sign in or sign up for free. If you're an existing user, you can directly sign into your Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. I am an existing user, so I'm going to directly sign into my Pabbly Connect account. Okay. After signing in, you can see the All Pabbly Apps section in front of you, in which you can see all the applications that Pabbly provides. As I want to use Pabbly Connect, I'm going to click on this Access Now button right over here. Then Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. Before creating a new automation, I want to tell you about Pabbly Community. Pabbly Community is an exclusive space where you can find help not only from our team members but also the fellow users. In this space, you will find real-time updates in Pabbly, as well as you can find automation tips, share your ideas and feedbacks, and ask questions. So go ahead and join our Pabbly community today. For that, you can find the link of our community in the description box below. After coming to the dashboard of Pabbly Connect, now to create a new automation in our Pabbly Connect account, we have to create a new workflow. For that, click on this Create Workflow button on the top right corner. You will find two methods for creating the workflow. One is the new beta method, other one is the old classic method. So I'm going to create the workflow using the old classic method from here. Now, where firstly it is asking for the workflow name. So for the name of my workflow, I'm going to give it as Register Typeform Signups to EverWebinar. Okay, so this is the name of my workflow. For the folder, these are the folders. I'm going to select the workflows folder, and then I'm going to click on this Create button. Then a new workflow has been created, you can see right over here, and you will find two windows in front of you. One is the trigger window, other one is the action window. So what is trigger and action? Trigger and action are the two most important steps of our automation process, because our process depends on these two principles. Over here, trigger says when this happens and action says do this. That means what is action? Action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. We are going to set up our trigger step first, in which my trigger application, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to select over here as Typeform. Using Typeform, I have created a registration form using which I collect the data of the registrants who want to take a part in the webinar that I've created using EverWebinar. Okay. So I want that as soon as by the participant a form submission is going to be done using EverWebinar, I want this trigger should capture the response of that. That is why for my trigger application, I've selected over here as Typeform, and the trigger event is going to be new entry. Okay. And then I'm going to click on this Connect button. This window is going to appear in front of you, on which click on Add New Connection, and then click on this Connect with Typeform button right here. After that, you can see right over here, it is asking for the permission for my Typeform account, for which I'm going to click on this Accept button, as this is a safe process and my data is perfectly safe with Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to click on this Accept button right over here. And as I've done that, you can see Typeform is now been connected to Pabbly Connect. Firstly, it is asking for us to select the form. Over here, we have to select the form whose response we have to capture in our trigger. I have created a form in the name of Business Growth Webinar Registration, and this is the same form that is selected over here on the drop down. After selecting the form, I want the simple response, so I'm going to toggle this button on and click on this Save and Send Test Request button right here. Then over here it says waiting for webhook response. So now to check whether Typeform is successfully connected to Pabbly Connect or not, I'm going to do the test form submission of this form that I've created. So I'm going to copy this link and open it in a new tab right here. Then over here it is asking for the details of the participant. For the first name over here, I'm going to write it as dummy. For the last name over here, I'm going to write over here as account. For the phone number, I'm going to enter a dummy mobile number right here. Then it is asking for the email address. For the email address, I'm going to write it as dummyaccount@pabblytunes.com. And for the company name over here, I'm going to write it as XYZ company, okay, and then I'm going to click on this OK button. For the stage that describes my business is early growth, I'm going to select it. And for the goal over here, I'm going to write it as I'm working on building a high performing team to scale my business, okay, and then I'm going to click on this submit button. As I've done that, you can see it says thanks for completing this form submission. As now the form submission is done, I'm going to open my workflow and scroll down, and you can see the response has been captured in my trigger. This is the title of the form, you can see right over here. And if I'm going to further scroll down right here, you can see the first name is dummy, the last name is account. If I'm going to further scroll down, this was the mobile number. Email is dummyaccount@pabblytudes.com. The company is XYZ company. And over here you can see the stage is early growth. And lastly over here, this is the description of the goal. I'm working to building a high performing team to scale my business. So as now the response has been captured over here in my trigger, this means that Typeform is successfully connected to Pabbly Connect and our trigger setup is now been done. After setting up our trigger step, we need to set up our action step. Now, as we have our registrant's details via this form submission, I am going to add this registrant in my EverWebinar account, okay? So now we're going to set up our action step in which my action application, I'm going to select over here as EverWebinar. An action event, I'm going to select over here as register a person to webinar. And then I'm going to click on this connect button. This window is going to appear on which click on add new connection, and then it is asking for the API key. With the help of this API key, we are going to build the connection between EverWebinar and Pabbly Connect. To have the API key, you have to log into your EverWebinar account, then go towards your profile section right here. Then go towards this API section as well right here. After coming to the API section, over here it says you have access of the API. Please check the advanced section of the corresponding webinar to see your credentials. Okay. So this is the webinar you can see right over here. I'm going to go to all the webinar section. This is the webinar that I've created. We have to go towards the advanced section. In advanced, you will find this API custom integration. You have to select it and this is the key. I'm going to copy this key and paste it in this field and click on this save button right over here. As I've done that, EverWebinar is now been connected to Pabbly Connect, okay? After that, firstly, it is asking for the webinar ID. For the webinar ID, I have created a webinar in my EverWebinar account in the name of Grow Your Business Without Burning Out. Okay, so this is the ID. I'm going to select it from here. Then it is asking for my registrant's data, the first name, last name, email. Now for the data of this field, I'm going to map the data. Mapping is inserting data from the previous step, so I'm going to insert the data from the previous step of this workflow. How it works is that as soon as I'm going to click on this field, the previous step is going to appear. As I'm going to click on it, the response that is captured in our previous step is going to appear in front of you. And over here you can see in the response, we have received the name of our registrant, the first name and the last name. And we have to add this registrant in our EverWebinar account. So for the data of the first name, I'm going to select the data of the first name of my registrant from my previous response. As now I've selected the data from my previous response, this data has now been mapped. And as I've mapped this data, the data has now become dynamic. That means now whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the new data is going to be updated in place of this mapped data. In the similar manner, I'm going to map the data of the last name that I've received right over here. This is the last name. I'm going to map the data. For the email, I'm going to map the data of the email right here. Okay. For the schedule ID, this is the ID. So I'm going to select it from here. On this date and time, this webinar is scheduled. It is asking for the phone country code. I don't have a separated code, so over here I'm going to skip the part. For the phone number, I'm going to map the data of the phone number right here. This is the phone number. I'm going to map the data. Then it is asking for the date, which I do not have, so I'm going to skip the part. Same, I don't have the time zone, so I'm going to skip the part. And simply, I'm going to click on this Save and Send Test Request button. As I've done that, you can see right over here, we have received a response in which we have received the status as success. That is a positive response. So if I'm going to open my EverWebinar account and go towards the registrant section right over here, you can see a new registrant has been added in the name of dummy account. This is the mobile number. Email is dummyaccount@pabblytudes.com. Okay. So as now the registrant has been added successfully in my EverWebinar account, this is how this amazing automation will always work. Okay. So now to sum up till now what we have done. Now whenever by the participant, for the registration in the webinar, a form submission is going to be done using Typeform. Automatically the trigger Typeform new entry is going to capture the response of that.
As now we have the participants' details. Using the details, using EverWebinar, register a person to webinar. That participant is going to be added as a registrant in the webinar that I've created using EverWebinar. And in this manner, I have set up this amazing connection between these two applications without need of any coding and programming skills using Pabbly Connect. So this was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.
Not just with these applications, you can create automation between multiple applications using Pabbly Connect. If you have any doubts, you can send us email on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can ask us queries on forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can check out this link. If you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel and hit the like button down there.